Maybe the Avs are just so good that the power play doesn't even matter? Avs win over the LA Kings 5-2. Look, I don't really believe that. It's gonna have to get better eventually if they want to beat the best teams in the league, but LA is a wild card / bubble team, and the Avs kind of handled them despite their power play actively sabotaging them. This is a hockey team that is clearly doing something special this year, particularly at 5-on-5. Despite the Avs special teams woes, they won every single period of this game, and they outscored LA at 5-on-5 4-0. Now, LA isn't a particularly high-octane, high-scoring team, but they are one of the best defensive teams in the league, and that did not stop the Avs hardly at all. It was ultimately a pretty low-event game, which is somewhat interesting because the Avs are capitalizing at a high effective rate. Sometimes they struggle to do that this year, but not in this one. The first period was honestly not amazing. Some passivity at times, and again, special teams actively hurt the Avs at every possible angle of this game. But even a meh period from the Avs is one where they still score first in the game. LA on the breakout here. It's not even that aggressive of forecheck pressure from the Avs, but Colton comes in late and is able to get a stick on a puck that creates chaos. He's able to collect this one and shows really good patience to wait. As LA kind of panics backing off here with possession for the Avs, he recognizes Drury coming in up high and can wait to find the lane open. Drury then walks into where he can, gets collapsed on, and just fires a puck, and this one manages to find its way in. Admittedly, that is a very weak goal from Anton Forsberg, but it's great to see Jack Drury get on the board and Ross Colton pick up a point. It had been a while for both of them and a while for the Avs bottom six, honestly, so it's nice to see them get going a little bit again. The Avs need that bottom six. Their depth has to produce at times for them, especially, again, if their special teams are not going to. And the Avs would never look back from there. The Avs would never trail in this game. Even if they did give this one lead back, it was enough to be functional, and Mackenzie Blackwood looked very good for the majority of this game, at least when things were still close. The second period starts off with the other side of special teams letting the Avs down. The penalty kill gives one up. It's been a great PK for the Avs so far, but with time winding down, LA gets a good zone entry as the Avs try to get set up in their box. They do so reasonably well, but you're going to see LA puts two players down low. Manson has to respect his side of the ice, so that leaves Brent Burns with the guy who ultimately stays at the top of the crease, and Brent Burns just loses the battle. He doesn't even do anything effective positionally, and when he goes for the stick lift, he just doesn't really do anything there either. Look, I thought the Burns-Manson pairing was absolutely awful in this game. We've kind of talked about that before. When they have their down games, it gets really, really bad. Probably want some better defense on that play on the penalty kill, but as usual, I don't really have a problem with the PK. I thought it was actually pretty good tonight. It's just sometimes other teams score like we've talked about so many times before. The problem there is the Avs power play is so bad that if their penalty kill isn't quite literally perfect, it feels like a compounding issue. So at the midway point of the game, you feel like you're in a bit of a grindy dogfight here. And then the Avs wake up. They just absolutely turn on the 100% afterburners at 5-on-5 and take LA behind the woodshed. Their top line has one of the best shifts I've seen from them in a while, and they get rewarded for it. Don't have it in the clip, but the Avs have had 3 or 4 good chances on this shift already and just keep working. You have Nathan MacKinnon down low here winning a puck battle. The Avs top line leading by example on this shift. Nate just does a good job to use the space he's given, handles the puck well, and when he finds a soft spot, he's looking for a backdoor play that doesn't really connect because the Avs just can't seem to connect on those. But then you get a Herculean effort as this puck does not go in. It initially gets pushed out by Forsberg, but Landeskog makes a diving play to slap it back into the crease area, and somehow it just trickles through along the goal line, and Nate just is able to recognize the puck is there, get to it, and put it in the net. That makes it 2-1. I think you're comfortable here. Again, you don't expect LA to be a pretty high-scoring team. You're in the driver's seat. You've been fine here. The Avs held LA to just 5 shots on goal in the second period. You're okay, especially knowing the Avs are a juggernaut in the third. But this was not enough for the Avs. They found a way to get that next goal and extend their lead. It's Brock Nelson's 15th goal this season as the Avs 2C. That's across 38 games. When you compare that to some of the Avs' old 2Cs, Casey Middlestad had 15 goals across his entire time in Colorado, which was a full 81 games, so essentially a full season. Brian Johansson before him scored 13 goals in 63 games. You have to go back to JT Compher, who was playing above his station a little bit at 2C in his last year in Colorado, where he scored 17 goals in a full season. And when you include Brock Nelson's time in Colorado at the end of last season, in the regular season, across 57 games, Brock Nelson has 21 goals. It's a very real possibility that Brock Nelson could get to 30 goals this season with Colorado alone, forgetting everything he did last year, and that would be the best mark by an Avs 2C in a very long time. Even better than Nazem Kadri when it comes to the goal totals. Of course, he's not going to equal Kadri's 87 points, as Kadri had a ridiculous career year on the Avs Cup run, but Nelson has finally solved a position that the Avs simply just have not been able to solve over the last 3 years. It cannot be understated how important that is for Colorado. So you go into the third with a 3-1 lead. Given Colorado in the third period this year, this game should just be over. And while it did get there, the Avs had 4 power plays in this game, including one in the third period, and that one they go -1 on. LA collecting on the Avs power play here and are able to carry the puck out of the zone. It's fine, that stuff happens. Not really sure what ended up going on with Brock Nelson here. He kind of just gets a little bit caught and puts himself behind the play, and then Cale gets burned by a nice toe drag too. Other players make good plays sometimes. This shot comes in, and honestly, it's not great, but I can forgive Blackwood. It's just mind-bogglingly bad. This is not even the best chance the Avs gave up on their own power play. The 2 best opportunities on 4 separate Avs power plays were both LA shots on goal. I'm at a loss. The Avs power play being bad and failing to actually score goals or give them momentum or really do anything effective is one thing. That alone, I think you can consider actively hurting yourself. But then to start giving away goals on the power play too, you don't have to look very far to know that's absolutely going to burn you, and soon. The Avs actual power play percentage is just 15.5%, but when you look at their net power play percent, it's down at 12.4%. It means the Avs are only going a net positive on their power play 1 out of every 8 times. There are worse power plays in the league, but those belong to a bunch of mediocre teams. When you look at the other division leaders, you see a team in the top 10 in Detroit, the literal best power play in the league in Edmonton. And then you have a bit of an anomaly with Carolina, who's down the list, but they've at least improved to get themselves out of the bottom 10. It kind of defies all sense that the Avs are able to maintain such an unbelievable season with the power play that they have. And I've spent the first half of this season telling you that it's going to burn them, and it really hasn't. There's some level of efficacy here where the Avs might just be able to get away with this against most teams. It might just be fine against a large portion of the NHL. I know better. I know that it's going to cost the Avs significantly if they try and go up against some of the best teams in the league and their power play not only fails but actively costs them. But for right now in the regular season, they're going to get away with it. They have until the playoffs start to figure it out. That goal made it 3-2. The Avs do lock things down fairly effectively in the third period. They're able to control LA's push to try and get into the game, and once that feathers out, you kind of just have this one. Nathan MacKinnon puts the empty netter in, and Cale Makar adds a bonus goal on the end to get to your 5-2 final. This team feels genuinely unbeatable at 5-on-5. They've now won 8 games in a row and feel pretty unstoppable. If the power play gets to even semi-functional, as in not a disaster, they might actually be unstoppable. And that feels like the conversation we've been having for 15 to 20 games. Enjoy the good stuff. Please fix the power play. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. I am Rudo, and I gotta go walk my dogs.